Hello, and welcome to my playground. This is the Mad Chemist Church, or Church from Church, depending on where you know me from, and welcome to Madman Review. Today we'll be taking a look at a game that came out a couple months ago, and has had pretty mixed reviews, and I wanted to check it out because it sounded fun, and now I understand why. So we're going to take a look at it. This is a game, this is the first map I've been on. It's put about 11 and a quarter hours onto it. So with this game, you can join or have other people join you, or you can join worlds, or you can start your own world, give it a name, give it customizability, change it if you want it to be friends can join, single player, put a password. Then you pick your map. So map also adds to the difficulty. Small, medium, large, and then like the structure of the map. So if you go with a smaller map, it might be a little bit easier because you're not trying to go everywhere, but you also have a limited amount of space. Whereas like the medium and the large, you have larger spaces, you have more room to move out, but you don't have everything is everywhere. So you kind of have to go everywhere. And that's one of the mistakes I made when I first started playing, was I thought I needed to be in one spot. Everything kind of had to be in a spot, but I didn't realize that a lot of stuff, which you'll see, can kind of go everywhere, and it's just based per region or by like zone. So you can kind of spread out and move things. They just kind of have to be in the zone, or they have to be within a circle, and a lot of the stuff, the circle that they give you of like effect is pretty decent. The only problem is that from what I understand, the devs, this hit 1.0, the devs dropped it, and they're no longer supporting it. So any bugs, anything you find, pretty much are falling on deaf ears, from what I'm understanding, and I haven't really seen any updates to this game recently. So I'm going with this is probably a dead game. So if you get it, just realize that anything you do, anything that bugs out, you're gonna either have to fix yourself or start over. Another thing on top of that is I'm 11 hours in the game and I'm done. So I bought this on sale for about 10 bucks. 11, so I got about $1 an hour, not bad. So let's go continue. I don't understand the date system because it seems like every month is like 4 or 5 days, or not month, but every season is 4 to 5 days, and the season changes, and what your villagers can collect change as well. And the whole thing is kind of like you also have to be stocking up for winter. So there's a lot of aspects to this game that are good. As you can see, you have your hotbar. None of these I crafted. These were all things you got through essentially researching. You can see it said day 8, but yet my thing's on day 3, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 days before the season changes, which originally I was only looking at seeing like 3 days. So this is one of the animals. They're like winged sheep, especially what they are for. You kill them, you get meat. You kill them, you get wool to make linen and cloth. And then you turn the linen cloth into clothing. As you can see on the left side of the screen, it's telling you like how much you need of something and how much you have in storage. I don't have a lot of clothes in storage to keep the villagers happy, so they keep trying to take one, like one will go in and it'll go down. Like theater, product, like there's all kinds of things. And this is kind of one of those things where I kind of like, I almost had to restart this game completely because everything was so messed up and I didn't really have an understanding of this game because there was no real tutorial. So you can build stuff that tames these, and then they just kind of wander around, because if you leave them normally out and about, they become these massive, basically rams. They go from being babies like this to basically like a ram, which becomes like ferocious. You can see this biome, everything looks kind of funny. Let's if I pull up the map. Yeah, and you kind of like have your what's happening in your entire map here at the bottom left. Bottom right, there's usually nothing. You have all your stuff at the top right, which shows how many villagers you have, how many you have as like your fighting force, your overall happiness. Not sure what the other one means, but then the bottom one is your food. T will bring up like your shortcut menu to see like how much you're producing versus how much you have versus how much you're losing, and those change pretty much consistently because of the fact that, as you can see, I have 23 buildings that are lacking resource. That's the sprinting mechanic. So you hold it down, you can sprint, move, hold, drift for like a quick turn. Or you can just a dash, and dash puts you into a sprint mode, which dashing takes a small amount of energy, but it speeds you personally up slightly. You see different buildings, like a windmill obviously needs wheat. Wheat obviously need to grow. The problem is that to upkeep and to keep continuously planting, you need fertilizer. To get fertilizer, you need compost bins. And with these compost bins, you need organic material to compost, obviously. Problem is I have this composter. I have composters everywhere with organic waste within range, as you can see. If I highlight it, all this blue here is what's in range. This one will, so one person will come out here, collect this, collect some, come back, put it in here, and then this building will put it, and then you'll put it in your inventory. Same thing with over here, all this. So you think, oh, you just have two. No, if I keep going, I have a composter here that's collecting from all that. I have a composter here that's also collecting from all that. I have a composter here that's collecting from all this. As you can see the range here. That's not all. I have a composter. I have a composter down here collecting from all this. I have a composter down here collecting from all this. And I have a composter down here collecting from all this. You can also see the hunter is fighting a mutant tusker, which is basically what the evolved form of things are. They're just called mutants, like a mutant woolly, a mutant tusker, and then see there's a woolly nest, and it shows you like a tusker nest. Hunters, you can get hunters that'll basically go out and hunt things for meat, wool, resources, stuff like that. There's your ore, that's where you can drop for ore. I have a airship for defense, basically. So the windmill uses wheat. You have other things that do different things, especially for that woolly barn. That's where they go in. Shearing shed, obviously, to shear the woolies. Ranch, that's how you tame the woolies. And then the butchery will grab any of the carcasses that the hunters leave behind. Since I have the hunters here, the hunter, see the region's blue. That means any hunter station that these hunters go and kill over here from this Tusker's nest will go to the butcher. Same with, I believe it's the soap maker, requires that. So, and yeah, see the weaving, saw for trees to make planks, the blast furnace for the mines. So if I click on the blast furnace, I believe there's a mine right here, so the mine will feed the blast furnace. Yeah, there's a miner there. The other thing is that the more stuff that is in a spot, the more of like deforestation and the more the pollution goes up. So what happened was that this area, the pollution hit max, and it completely made the area inoperable. So now that I've removed everything and I've kind of spread everything out, the pollution is slowly getting down, and this is slowly getting greener, and more trees and everything are slowly coming back. There's fishing boats. Fishing boats go out and they kill what are called snappers for food. There's a snapper nest. There's also the mutants. So as things go, they'll also go for a huge range of things. The boats take fuel. The airship takes mana. Mana is produced by... fuel is produced by charcoal kilns. Mana is produced by these things. The atmospheric collectors. You have all kinds of different military stuff. There's bandits that sometimes spawn at either at the end of seasons or beginning of days. You can plant trees. You can plant gardens. The homestead picks vegetables. The herbalist picks herbs for healing. The jam maker or the fruit press will pick trees and fruits and make fruit jam. Hunter obviously hunts. Charcoal kiln, composter, ranch, herbalist and saw, fruit press. That's pretty much it. Windmill obviously makes wheat. The baker to make bread. Self-explanatory. So one of the other buildings around, obviously the fishmonger's shop is for making food. There's bars, taverns, and theaters. These are basically to increase happiness as a different, and same thing with the outhouse. This will just help increase happiness in an area. This is kind of where you start the game with the crown. Wells, because the enemies can catch things on fire, and then the NPCs will come over here, grab water from the well, and splash it on it. That, in theory, is what's supposed to happen. And then the town hall, this is basically your center. I've never been able to figure out what entering a building does. From what I understand, it's supposed to help production, make things faster. But I've been in a building and I don't see anything. I don't know anything. I don't do anything. There's another building here. The builder's shop. No idea what this guy does. I know I've built some stuff and it just sat there not being built. So if I click on it, it's a pretty massive range that this guy should be able to go, and if there's something that needs built, he'll go build it, because it's only one NPC per building, which is kinda sucky, because obviously there should definitely be more. Here's the apothecary. This is what heals people through the potions made through the herbalist. So you can see they pretty much cover an entire region, so I should probably pick one of these guys up. So to do that, I just press F, pick it up. Let's see, I feel like the next biggest population where I see stuff happening is over here. Well, so the boats from these fishermen docks, they'll only get healed when they return to the docks, so putting it there. So I'm thinking over here is going to be the best. Then I can run, and if you hit something while running, you'll drop whatever you're holding, but you also send that item flying. So if I go this way, and all I gotta do is get within the area, since this is an area 1, enable the grid, and find the spot with the loot. Now, whoever was in here will become not part of the job, and then eventually, because they're the only person, not that has no job, they will eventually come back over here. So now that they're in the area, they will feed off of this herbalist's den here, and they will heal the hunters while they're taking damage. You see, I need rebuilding. So one needs rebuilding, so I can open up my map, click it, and here it is. This means it got attacked. So I can go this way, and then I believe it's in this direction. So the crown is supposed to be one of the biggest parts of this game, and in all honesty, I haven't really seen any use for the crown other than a minor health buff, a shield to not take so much damage, and yeah, and there's no build time. It's literally you just walk over, and also when you're dashing, you can on fire. That's why it was burning, because there's somebody attacking it. So I can look and see it's firing from over there. Question mark. We're going to. This is why I'm saying every day. So I'm during autumn. So right now there's a lot of mushrooms. There's not a lot of anything else. So the spear is typically for fighting in the water, but so far it's pretty much the best weapon. So without the crown, like I was saying before that happened, without the crown, you can only get one bar of stamina, but after that, with the crown and with killing creatures and enemies and stuff like that, you can get up to essentially 10 stamina bars. What's also about the stamina bars is that you use it to heal. So while holding still, you hold tab. Well, if you had damage, you'd hold tab, and you'd heal yourself, and it's based on how many stamina bars you have. Or how much you can heal is based on how many stamina bars you can have. But since there's no real way to improve your health, you just get a shield. That's pretty much it. Is you get a little bit of a shield, and then once the shield's back or full, you stop healing. The shield's great because it prevents you from getting knocked down, but as soon as the shield's broken, obviously it gets knocked down. You can help if you really need resources badly. You can help by going out and gathering them yourself. The problem is that you would literally spend the entire game gathering resources and getting nowhere, because I'm still using 176 fertilizer. It's basically 176 fertilizer per day, but I'm not producing that much. So I'm in the negative, even though I have so many of the composters out, or composters, depending on what you want to call it. So it gets extremely confusing, extremely fast, and then there's grass like this. This is like fodder. Fodder for the sheep, which the sheep are the only thing at this time that you can, or who's fighting, or not, need repair. That's the other thing, is that these, so, need repair, nothing. Construction plan, because my boats sank, exhausted, nothing. Ballot buildings lack resource. Obviously, it's autumn, so there's no fruit being, fruit only shows up during spring. Both my boats died, so now I have to go back there and repair them, and that's another issue about this, is, and you can also grab, you can wall jump, that's another thing. Another thing about this is that there's very little in the way of upgrading. This is technically sulfur versus making sulfur. They're called like ember or something. The upgrading in this game is extremely lackluster. There's no gear to upgrade your hunters, there's no gear to upgrade your anybody, so anybody will fight anything. Even if they're hopelessly outmatched, they'll still fight whatever. Even though there's, like, yeah, like that. Things don't seem to get repaired at all. Like, NPCs just don't seem to do anything that they're supposed to be doing. There's no upgrading, so it's not like I can upgrade my airship to make it do more damage, or my boats to have more health, or my fighters to do more, or my NPCs to have survivability. Everything is very lackluster. All these items here are just given to you. There's no crafting, there's no workbench. The light is pretty much completely worthless. The shield can only be used with like one thing. And yeah, it blocks a little bit, but most of the time you just get knocked down anyways. The major concept of the crown and the whole thing of being overthrown is that if you die to an enemy, the enemy gets the crown. It's a little bit tougher to kill. Like marginally, like completely not even like worth the time of the crown being on the enemy. Tougher to kill. Overall, this game was a giant meh. The only reason it took me 10 hours to officially beat this was because I did not understand how things worked. So I'm just kind of walking around showing all the different buildings. They did put a lot of time into this game. From the dev point of perspective, they did put a lot of time into this game, but to just release it 1.0 and then drop it, I've had some major game-breaking bugs that almost made it so that I just quit because I couldn't. I had to dig all the way down to the max bottom of the world because you can dig pretty far with the shovel. I almost had to dig down to the bottom of the world to find the crown because I bugged. I bugged out. This is a feeding trough, so if you have any food, they'll come and eat straight from that instead of wandering around and finding stuff. I had to dig almost all the way to the bottom before I could find my crown because I got hit. It sent my character back flying towards the camera, which bugged the game completely out. The screen would flash and then go back, flash, then go back, then flash, then go back, and it was just unplayable. Townhouses obviously are for residents. Trying to think if there's anything else. Anything else? It's a lumber mill. Also, resources do not grow back nearly as fast enough. So these trees will start to come back after 2 days of being chopped down. You'll see a sprout, and then every day after that, if there's enough room, they'll go from being a tree to a sapling to a young tree to a full tree to an ancient or massive to an ancient. And the bigger the tree is, the more wood obviously you get out of it. But to get to that point, it takes several days, almost seasons. So for a tree to get to essentially this size takes 1 or 2 seasons, but or this is just a large. You see. And any of these fighting tools, this one's mainly for smashing rocks, but pretty much any of these fighting tools will take out a tree. This one and this one will pretty much do it the fastest. Whereas a sword does take forever. But one person working, let's say like the sawmill or the charcoal kiln over here, they will clear an entire region in less than a day. It's just, it might take 2 days to completely clear a region if there's a ton of stuff, but day goes by, an entire area is completely cleared out, and then, like, I put that there 2 days ago. This area that it's influenced is completely cleaned out. There's some trees starting to grow back after 2 days, but these are unharvestable. You won't get anything if they actually harvest it. This is fodder. If I see this stuff, I'll always grab it, because the woolies will do is the woolies will go out and they will try to find stuff, and they will travel quite far to get food. They risk the chance of being attacked. So the only thing you can tame are the woolies. You can't tame the boars, which doesn't make any sense, and you can't train or tame the trappers. Yeah, snappers, not trappers, snappers. And those are the only 3 things in the game. There's literally nothing else. There's the snappers, the boars, or tuskers, and the woolies, the sheep. Nothing else. There's bandits that'll show up, like you saw the mortar cannon. There's like normal bandits that'll show up. Snappers are for fish meat only. The boars are for pig meat only. You get eggs from killing them, but are for killing nests. As you see, there's like nests, but that it's never been explained what the nests do or what the eggs from the nests do. I have no idea if they're used for food. I have no idea if it's used for breeding. I don't know, because there is literally nothing to this game that tells you anything. Most of the buttons don't make sense. You don't have an inventory. You hit tab to get you an offhand quick menu. I does nothing. Bottom left, you have a bunch of different things. Your map, it says tab is your inventory, but that's my hotbar. Q is for building. You kind of see this. It's got a very interesting build menu, and you can assign people to be at different places. You can do different things and you can build, but I just never got attacked, so I never built defense. There was no point. It said that I have raiding on, so that I should be raided, and I have no fuel for boats because my charcoal kilns have nothing. This is just a constant, like, the game is not fun because I am constantly moving stuff because things run out of fuel so quickly, or things run out of stuff so quickly, or they just can't get the resources fast enough. This game is not in a 1.0 state. This game is in an alpha state. Badly. I'm like, I cannot in good consciousness recommend this game to anyone. There are so many bugs. Everything feels like they just rushed it, threw it out there. I don't even know how to get scrap. Don't know. They just, hey, there's this thing called scrap in the game. You can get it. Does something. Okay, cool, thanks. Shows your population. I have 82, 63, 19-year soldiers, 0 unemployed. I have 13 out of 12 woolies. No idea how that happened. Again, no idea how half of this stuff happens. You can work how your recruitment happens. Like, I only have it to recruiting should not exceed jobs. My recruitment limit It's at 82 because of that. If I click off of it, it'll go to 200, and then you have to wait so much time before the next citizen. If one of your citizen dies, this will finish the countdown and a new citizen will appear. Your stats: food, sleep, stress. As you can see, everything's pretty good. Nobody's stressed. So what that is right there, that's stress. How many people are stressed? Because your people can revolt and overthrow you. Tells you what they're doing, what their job is, their name, and what number of citizen they are. Like the first citizen, and then you can mark them. This is your research tab and research queue, and I finished this within the first couple hours because they had almost absolutely zero time. Most of them, like I think one of the longest ones took like half an hour. That was it, and that was like way down here. That's it. There's no tab. There's nothing more. There's no advanced. There's nothing. There's no quests. I did like 2 quests, I believe, and that was like get your population going, and then defeat all the bandits on the map. So I defeated all the bandits on the map. They respawn. I get some stuff from them, nothing to make it worth going, other than just so that they're not attacking my buildings anymore. Character shows you all your equipment, and it's like a quick equipped. You can drop the crown in case like you're playing in multiplayer and somebody else is going to go do something that requires that they need all that. Enemies will drop souls. Souls obviously will bring you to the +9. I'm using whatever. I don't know, because it doesn't tell me for my outfit, but you can kind of change the way your character looks based on your personality, your personal personality, and you can kind of see. So this is like pink, and it looks like a flower, poison obviously, so it gives it kind of like a texture there, different, like a flower texture, sun, grass, fire, space, sparkles, castle, earth, and then your default, which the default looks pretty cool, but I kind of like this sparkly, the browns and blacks, purple sparkles. The other one I like is this one, but it's like not the right purple. So my overall thoughts on this game is that this game needs a lot of work, and the number one negative thing that I've seen so far on this game is that the developers have no there's the mana collectors up there. They take fuel, so not only are my boats taking the fuel, so are these guys. And that mana is used to produce for the airship. Which the airship is basically just flying around, shoots things. Kind of like these guards. Like I have a guy that musketeer, and I have the halberd. And they kind of walk around and they protect the area, which I don't get attacked, so final thoughts on this game. It was fun. If you want to give it a shot, if you want to give it a try, wait until it goes on sale. I doubt this game's gonna get any update anytime soon or any kind of help, so as soon as this review's done, I'm pretty much just gonna uninstall. It was fun while it lasted. It made my head hurt on several occasions. It's beautiful. It's a decent looking game. It's blocky. I do like the survival block styles. I do like games that kind of remind you of Minecraft, but a little bit better. This isn't my type. Like, you can already see the trees there. The rendering, you can see that they're mixing in with the clouds. Like, that's like a That should not be there. After this is a 1.0 release, you should not have visual glitch bugs like that. At a 1.0 release, you should not have a visual glitch like that. I mean, I couldn't. There's been so many glitches, I lost count. You have NPCs like the guy. This is probably the sawmill NPC, who is just the pathing. Oh look, I'm here, but the NPC's pathing is ridiculous. So you can also see I can flatten or fill, which is based on where you're at. Or if I jump, I can dig or raise. So it took me forever to figure out that you have to jump and then hold to do that. And you can go down pretty deep, you can go up pretty quickly. It's not a bad like terraforming system. It's just never explained, and half the time it doesn't work. And if I just want to do one, I most of the time end up doing 2 or 3 because lag. Like you just saw the I don't know if that showed up on screen there, but that was a pretty good, decent stutter. Like, so that's where I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to save it real quick. So once you finish an area, like I'm done. This map is done. I've got nothing else I can do. I guess I could go start another map and try at a harder difficulty, or let's say at a less, like this is the hills map. So it's larger and it has a lot of open areas and a lot of easy movement, where if I could do like the coastline or something, that might be a little harder, a little bit more here and there. So it might increase the difficulty, but that's the entire game in a nutshell. Like, it took me about 30 minutes without some of the bullshittery to basically tell you the entirety of the game, and I feel like I need more. There needs to be more, and this is a 1.0 release. This is an alpha. As someone who's played thousands of games, who's been in hundreds of alphas and betas, as someone who has been a gamer since basically birth, like my parents sat me in front of the Atari with them while they played it, and I was dead silent watching them play Atari. Whatever game, Pong, Tank, Missile Command, I was dead silent while my brother and my parents were playing that. This game is not a 1.0 release. This game is an alpha at best. And I honestly would ask for a refund if it wasn't for the fact that maybe the developers could decide to go back on what they said and change it. But I think I am past what Steam would allow to get me a refund. It was also like $10 on sale. So, I mean, I've spent $10 on way worse. So, if you like the review, please give it a like. Please leave a comment if you've played this and what you think of the game. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm right. And if you're the developers out there, you can do better. You can do way better. And this really disappoints a fan base or any kind of game base when you make a game and then just drop it. It completely, if I see this studio's name again, I will definitely hesitate in purchasing the next game or any game that this production studio or developer or anybody even has a hand in. So not only are they sabotaging their own future, they're sabotaging any collaboration or other developer slash production studios thing, life, money, career, whatever you want to call it. Because now I'm going to take a look at it and go, ooh, they're in it. If I do want to pick this game up, I'm going to wait until it's like $5. Because this game honestly should be free. with the amount of bugs it has, with the lack of content, with the lack of variety, with the lack of everything. And then I did look some stuff up, and the developers did respond, like in Reddit or other places, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll increase that, or we're looking at doing this." Months, year ago, plus on those threads. So if something changes, I'll be happy to be wrong. But until then, this game's garbage. I usually don't do reviews on games that are this bad because I don't like talking about stuff in a negative context. I like to show, and I like to be excited about what I do. But I'm hoping that if enough of these reviews and enough of this stuff comes out about this game, that it might give the developers a little kick in the ass, so that they come back to it, or maybe take a relook at their stance, because this is extremely in poor taste to just drop a 1.0 that's basically an alpha and then ditch. I can think of some other games, Dark and Light, stuff like that. Arc, that was another game that the developers kind of dropped it, did some shit, and then booked it. So until next time, you be you stay you. But I'm kind of phasing that out. I like it, but I'm kind of phasing it out. So I'm thinking we might stick with the story's been told, the dice rolled, the wheel spun. Until next time, adventure on.